George Floyd's girlfriend takes a stand, what she said and how it could impact jurors. Plus millions of COVID vaccines ruined. Hear what happened. And early voting underway in Norman. Where to go to cast your ballot before Election Day. This is OU Nightly. Hello, thanks for joining us tonight for OU Nightly. I'm Emma Sears.
And I'm Deyton Deller. Tears and tissues in the courtroom during the trial of Derek Chauvin on Thursday.
The former Minneapolis police officer is charged in conviction to the death of George Floyd. Chauvin has pleaded not guilty.
In the fourth day of testimony, the court heard details about Floyd's personal life from someone very close to him. CNN's Camila Bernal is in Minneapolis to explain.
Tearful testimony from the girlfriend of George Floyd.
Floyd has this great, deep Southern voice, raspy.
For the first time, the courtroom heard about Floyd's life from the person he dated for nearly 3 years until his death.
He asked me if he could get my number, and we had our first kiss in the lobby.
But they shared a struggle.
Floyd and I both suffered with an opioid addiction. It's a classic story of how many people get addicted to opioids. We both suffered from chronic pain. We got addicted and tried really hard to break that addiction many times.
It was your belief that Mr. Floyd started using again about 2 weeks prior to his death, correct?
I noticed a change in his behavior, yes.
The defense argues Floyd died from drug use and a heart condition, not from Derek Chauvin kneeling on his neck. The former Minneapolis police officer was still restraining Floyd when paramedics arrived.
In lay terms, I thought he was dead.
After paramedics put Floyd in an ambulance, Chauvin defended his actions.
Gotta control this guy because he's a sizable guy.
Also testifying today, another paramedic who said when he arrived there were no signs Floyd was breathing or moving. The trial continues Friday morning. And there have been many shootings in the U.S. lately, and the most recent one happened last night. Lauren Johnson has that story and the rest of today's headlines from around the world. Lauren?
Thanks, Deyton. There was a mass shooting last night at a business complex in Orange, California. 4 people were killed, including a 9-year-old boy, and the other victim is in critical but unstable condition. Police say the suspect had professional and personal relationships with the victims, and they believe that this was not a random act of violence. The suspect is hospitalized in critical but unstable condition. Jessie Klinger will have more on this later in the show. The recent event in California marks the 20th mass shooting since Atlanta spa attacks 2 weeks ago. Meanwhile, gun sales in the U.S. soared in March. The FBI conducted a record number of background checks for firearm purchases last month, and there was a 36% increase from February. With stimulus checks and talk of new gun laws, Americans are trying to stock up. The House passed a bill that would expand background check requirements in March and is expected to go to Senate soon. The Texas governor is planning to take action at the Texas-Mexico border. He says the Department of Public Safety has made almost 600 criminal arrests and thousands of referrals of illegal immigrants. New York airport, a man was caught smuggling 24 birds and hair curlers in his suitcase. The man was fined but not criminally charged. Deyton, back to you.
Early voting for the April 6 Norman municipal elections is today and tomorrow. Norman voters will decide the Ward 3 City Council runoff election between Councilmember Allison Petrone and candidate Kelly Lynn. OU Nightly's Jessie Klinger explains what else is included in this ballot. Sorry for the technical difficulties.
In Deyton, no April Fool's tricks here. This weather has been incredible recently.
I know. Juliana Mejia is here to give us a peek into the forecast. Juliana?
Yes, definitely no April Fool's joke. It's been beautiful and it's going to remain this way. Fortunately, we are going to be a tad chilly tonight, but we do have a warming trend on the way that I'll talk about further in the full forecast, as well as a fire watch for the Panhandle as of tomorrow that's active through noon to 8 p.m. But I'll have details on everything and the lovely weather coming up in the full forecast. Back to you ladies at the desk.
Coming up, it's no secret that many are feeling under the weather after getting their COVID vaccine.
Find out why doctors are saying the side effects are actually a good sign.
Millions of COVID vaccines were thrown out in Baltimore today.
Find out why and what Johnson & Johnson is doing to continue administering vaccines.
Welcome back to OU Nightly. President Biden has announced a new infrastructure proposal. Skylar Tallal is live in D.C. with that story. Skylar?
President Joe Biden held his first in-person cabinet meeting right behind me at the White House. His $2 trillion infrastructure proposal was a top priority. Now the proposal covers a wide variety of issues, but if passed by Congress, we would see upgrades in transportation, manufacturing, research development, even caregiving and building of new public schools. The president emphasized this would create hundreds of thousands of jobs while tackling these issues. And now he's hoping for the support of the American people.
Democrats, Republicans, Independents, we can do this. We have to do this. We will do this. We just have to remember, this is the United States of America. And I've said it 1,000 times. There's nothing beyond our capacity if we act together.
President Biden's plan is to increase corporate taxes. And because of this, many lawmakers are lining up to reject the proposal. Reporting live from D.C., Skylar Tallal, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Skylar. The New York Times COVID tracker reports people in Cleveland County are at a higher risk for contracting COVID. Right now, that's based on the rise in cases recently. The Oklahoma Health Department reports more than 400 cases today and a total of more than 10,500 active cases in the state right now. The CDC says just under 7,900 Oklahomans have died from COVID. Health experts suggest everyone eligible get a COVID vaccine.
And when it comes to the vaccines, there's new information on the effectiveness of the Pfizer shots. Haley Weger joins us in the Health Beat with details. Haley?
Thanks, Deyton. An ongoing clinical trial proves that the Pfizer vaccine is highly protective for at least 6 months. Data shows the Pfizer vaccine is 91% effective against COVID for 6 months, and vaccine experts say it is likely effective longer than that. But having this data is good news for the future.
Getting back to school, but also for us reaching herd immunity as well.
Experts are hopeful this vaccine will provide immunity for years or even a lifetime. Many are worried about side effects from the vaccine, but doctors say they are actually a good thing. The most common side effects of the vaccine are arm soreness, fatigue, body aches, and fever. But these side effects won't last long and are actually proof your immune system is working correctly. Studies show that only 2 to 5 per million have severe allergic reactions to the vaccine, and some people won't have side effects at all. Johnson & Johnson found a quality problem at their Baltimore plant that was manufacturing COVID-19 vaccines. Workers at Emergent Biosolutions accidentally mixed up some ingredients in the vaccine, ruining up to 15 million potential doses. This mix-up delayed the FDA authorization of the plant. Johnson & Johnson said the quality control process identified one contaminated batch, but it was never advanced to the finishing stages of the manufacturing process. In Deyton and Emma, there is a mobile health vehicle in the South Oval giving out mammograms today. Back to you guys.
Early voting for the April 6th Norman municipal elections is today and tomorrow. Norman voters will decide the Ward 3 City Council runoff election between Councilmember Allison Petrone and candidate Kelly Lynn. OU Nightly's Jessie Klinger explains what else is included in this ballot.
On April 6th, the City of Norman is hosting an election. On the ballot is the authorization for the 2021 street maintenance bond.
This is basic street maintenance, basic infrastructure maintenance. in our neighborhoods. It has been proven to be successful. Every time we've gone to the voters, more voter approval has been gained.
Each of the previous street bond programs in 2005, 2010, and 2015 were passed, completed on time, and under budget to rehabilitate more than 400 miles of city streets. If approved, the city will issue bonds for $27 million to repair an additional 150 miles.
We do see a lot of damage from road conditions, and that includes potholes. That includes uneven lanes. There can be a lot of problems, a lot of damage to your vehicle, and a lot of times it's an expensive repair. So
concerns such as potholes, storm drainage, and sidewalk conditions are some of the many issues the city wants to continue working on for the next 5 years.
If you're a resident of Norman that drives anywhere, and most of us are in that category, most of us are going to drive on these streets, we're going to live in these neighborhoods. That's why you vote for this.
Norman residents will see no increase in property taxes if the bond is passed. Projects would begin this summer and be completed in 2026. Jessie Klinger, OU Nightly.
Early voting takes place until 6 p.m. today and from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. tomorrow. Find out how this OU event can help you make a difference.
Plus, Juliana Mejia is here to tell us more about that beautiful spring weather we're having. Juliana?
Yes, so April has definitely made its debut with some awesome spring weather, and coming up in the full forecast, weather is next. Welcome back to OU Nightly. Our Skyline cam here is showing us a beautiful OKC, and hopefully you've gotten a chance to go outside today. Current conditions 64 degrees right now, and lows tonight are going to be relatively chilly to what we've been feeling. So kind of lower 40s, maybe even down into the 30s for Miami up there. But highs tomorrow going to keep in line with beautiful conditions that we've seen. Southerly winds are going to keep us warm, and so we can see kind of mid-60s for majority of the state. Now with this though, with these southerly winds, we've got kind of nice breezy conditions for tomorrow. It's going to be dry up in the Panhandle, hence there is a fire watch for tomorrow noon through 8 p.m. for the Panhandle. Now I did want to include kind of a look at our allergen content for the area. This is and has been kind of on a downward trend, just to give this out for our allergen sufferers. Hopefully, again, with that downward trend, that will ease up and we'll kind of have a break for you guys, especially going into Easter weekend. Like I said, beautiful conditions are on the way. We've got sunshine keeping up, a high of 78 on Sunday. So if you do celebrate Easter, I do encourage you maybe think about planning an Easter egg hunt, because conditions are going to be perfect for it. And again, keeping up, just continuing on with this warming trend, we're going to touch and reach the 80s going into the top of the work week. So definitely looking forward to it, leaving you off with your 7-day forecast and a great big look at all of those wonderful temperatures on the way. I don't know about you, I'm in Dayton. Personally, I'm a big fan of temperatures in the 80s, and you'll probably find me poolside next week. So definitely looking forward to it. And I'll send it back to you, ladies.
Absolutely, Juliana. I think we can all relate to that. Reducing your carbon footprint is something we should all strive to do, but it's hard to figure out the best way to do it. The Mewborn College of Earth and Energy is hosting a free webinar next week that focuses on how Oklahomans can mitigate climate change. The event is part of the International Solve Climate by 2030 Innovative, who is hosting a series of similar webinars around the world in early Easter. The panel is open to all Oklahomans and will be held April 7th.
And for all you baseball fans out there, opening day is finally here.
Grace Burget is here to tell us about that and what's to come in sports. Grace?
That's right. We have a lot of news coming from the Diamond, and not only is it opening day is underway, but the Sooners are pretty busy too. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome back to OU Nightly. I'm Grace Burget, and you know what time it is. It's time for sports. Let's jump right in. And what a beautiful day. Not only is it sunny outside, but it is also opening day. It has already been action-packed as the MLB 2021 season is officially underway. 26 teams are scheduled to face off, and the opening day slate is expected to stretch well past 1 a.m. And unfortunately, the Nationals and Mets are going to have to miss out on the fun as they had to postpone their game due to COVID-19 issues. And if you missed it earlier today, Miguel Cabrera of Detroit scored the first homer of opening day in the snow. And due to COVID-19, opening day looks a little differently compared to previous years, but the Cubs at Wrigley Field look to make baseball season a safe experience for newly returning fans.
You'll see physically distanced pod-style seating, so we want guests to stay in their physical location with assigned concessions and restrooms within that seating location. We, of course, have a lot of signage, hand sanitization stations throughout the ballpark, mobile hand washing stations. We want health and safety to be top of mind. It's our highest priority, but we also think that we want this to also be a friendly and inviting experience as well, and we think we've done both.
And let's check on the scores so far. The season kicked off with the Tigers taking the Indians 3-2. Then the Blue Jays took the Yankees in an extra inning 3-2. And right now the Rangers are in Kansas City paying the Royals a visit. And tonight, don't miss the Astros duel it out against the A's in Oakland. And the top-ranked OU softball team is on a roll. The Sooners are coming off a series sweep against Iowa State to put them at 25-0 for the first time in program history. And now they have won 55 consecutive Big 12 series. And speaking of Big 12 series, the Sooners host the Kansas Jayhawks in their official conference opener tonight at 6 p.m. And staying on the mound, the OU men's baseball team hosts the TCU Horned Frogs in a series starting tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. The team fell in a bedlam matchup on Tuesday, and the Sooners are currently 7-2 at home and look to increase their record with a Big 12 series win. And from the diamond to the mat, the top-ranked OU gymnastics team begins their championship hunt with the NCAA regional competition tomorrow. Since 2010, OU gymnastics holds 10 consecutive regional championships and 42 individual event championships. The Sooners will duel Missouri at 7 p.m. And the Oklahoma City defeated the Toronto Raptors 113-103 at home last night. Savi Mikhailuk led the way with 22 points and 9 rebounds, and the Thunder are currently 20-27 and are 13th in the Western Conference. They travel to Phoenix to host the Suns tomorrow at 9 p.m. And the college basketball world will never be the same as UNC coach Roy Williams announced his retirement today. After spending 18 seasons with the Tar Heels, Williams finished with a record of 485 and 163 and led the Tar Heels to 3 national titles. And speaking of basketball, I don't know about you guys, but even with an action-packed day of sports, I'm missing some March Madness action. The Final Four of the NCAA tournament kicks off this weekend. Emma and Deyton, you won't want to miss it.
Absolutely. Thanks, Grace. And one shop in Atlanta is selling a new type of donut.
And it might seem like a joke to some, but apparently their shrimp tail donut is very popular. Find out more straight ahead on OU Nightly.
I'm Jessie Klinger at the OU Nightly Update Desk. The suspect for the Orange County mass shooting could face the death penalty due to special circumstances of multiple victims and the police stating it was not a random act of violence. Orange County District Attorney Todd Spitzer said that they're looking at whether the suspect's locking of the front and back gates could be constituted as lying in wait. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Jessie. And it's not an April Fool's prank, it's real and apparently very popular. A donut store in Atlanta has created a donut topped with cinnamon vanilla glaze, cinnamon toast cereal, and candy shrimp tail, selling it only today.
The release came after a man went viral on social media for his reaction after finding shrimp tails in his box of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. The company claimed that the shrimp tails were actually clumps of cinnamon and sugar. And something even sweeter than that donut is the weather this weekend. Juliana, what can you tell us about it?
Yes, definitely. So, I mean, there's really not too much to talk about, nothing too exciting other than fantastic temperatures, loads of sunshine. So you can really see this very steady warm up we've got on the way, just picking up day after day. Even our lows, you can see, are picking up from chilly tonight, relatively 40s, and then all the way up into the 60s for lows next week. And so winds kind of mild as well, definitely in the 20s, gusting maybe up to 25 tomorrow, this weekend, but definitely beautiful conditions on the way, and I'm looking forward to it. I don't know about you guys, but sending it back to you, ladies.
Thank you, Juliana, and thank you for watching OU Nightly, brought to you by the Gaylord College of Journalism and Mass Communication.
Thank you for watching, and good night.